Greetings, I'm Kyle Rook, General Manager and Chief Operating Officer of the Forest Country Club in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm here with famed architect Kipp Schulties. Welcome.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate being here.
Can you walk us through where we are today and what you're looking forward to, Kipp?
Sure, absolutely. We're actually a little more than halfway through the project, Kyle. We're probably, we hope to be done in about 5 or 6 weeks. So we are at the very end of July. We're actually in process right now of getting the last 3 holes in the front 9 grass today, which means we are basically halfway done technically. But what happens in golf course construction is when you have 18 holes open for construction, you kind of reduce it down to 9 that we're working on with all the same amount of equipment, same amount of crews, things like that. Everything kind of expedites at the end. So what you'll see happen, what seemed to be taking a very long time for several months, getting to that completion of the front 9, will happen very, very quickly on the back 9. You'll see that all tidy back up, probably right after Labor Day, something along those lines.
Very nice.
Puts us right on schedule.
Kipp, you've worked on courses all over the country, all over Florida, up the East Coast. You've been here at the Forest for a couple of years.
Yep.
What was your vision for the Forest?
Well, we look at these projects like any other golf course around South Florida, is that when it's an existing club, it's not mine. It's not my blank canvas to go do whatever I want with. Could we do all kinds of wild and crazy things? Sure, we could. But this is a club that's been around for 40, 50 years here. The membership has been around. It's established. There are things out there the club liked. There are things that the club wanted to see different. That's why you do a renovation, to try to upgrade. We start these processes by doing what's called focus group sessions, where I literally meet with 4 different skill sets of your members here at the Forest. And we did that here about 1.5 years ago. 2 high handicaps, men and women, and 2 low handicaps, men and women. And we asked them, what is it that you like or dislike about the Bear golf course? And from that, we gathered a lot of information about what was important to them. Not my ideas, not your ideas, not the board's ideas, but what's important to your membership who really plays this golf course every day. And from that, we drafted up a plan that tried to address as many of those things as we could, while primarily focusing on the obvious elephant in the room, which was drainage. We all know that the Forest has some drainage problems. We all know the Forest is a little bit low, so we knew we had to elevate it. We knew we had to find all the dirt that we could underneath the footprint of the Forest to try to get it up, get it dry, and keep it dry during normal rain events. And that's really been the ultimate goal of this thing. And once we got that solved, which we have on this project, and then we fine-tune it with some unique characteristics of greens and bunkers and shadowing and shapes and things like that really give it that cool eye appeal. So I'm real confident that we've maximized or optimized what's available within this property's footprint to do the best golf course we can here at the Forest Country Club. All right, my name's Kipp Schulties. I am a golf course architect based in Jupiter, Florida. This is my 33rd year in the golf course design business. I spent my first 6 years with Fred Couples and Gene Bates working out of their Palm Beach and San Jose, California offices. I broke away on my own after graduating from MBA school. I got an MBA in finance. I got an undergraduate degree in civil engineering from Purdue University, so I could kind of combine those two. And that's basically how I got into the golf course design business. So combining a love of golf and an engineering background with a little monetary background as well, and created my own company after learning my craft and my trade from one of the best golfers in the business, Fred Couples, at the time. So the question as to playability and challenge of the golf course all combined. When you have 36 holes here at the Forest, but we're going to treat it like you have 18. And that's part of the reason why when we were dealing with the focus group sessions, we met with very good golfers separately from, I'll say, lesser golfers, to make sure that we could adequately represent the desires and the expectations of both. Because we're looking at one golf course, we're trying to satisfy the whole range of skill sets within the membership. So while we want to make sure that we can stretch the golf course as far as we possibly can for the guys that want to play the back tees and maybe stretch it out to 7,000 yards, we also want to make sure that we're equally as paying attention to the people playing the middle tees and the forward tees to make sure that their game is playable, enjoyable, and not a miserable experience of forced carries and forced challenges and hazards that are beyond their capabilities. So setting up angles, setting up elevation, setting up the placement of hazards mainly for the longer hitters and leaving a little more wider spaces for the lesser or shorter players is one way around that. And we always also leave a way into each green with some kind of level of unforced carry. Like there's a roll-up area that you can go up to the front right of every green or the front left of every green. Maybe only half that green is protected by sand or by water. So there's we call a bail outside for those that want to test the championship pin, if you will. Obviously, this is a very large operation that we're doing here. I'm sitting in front of the camera telling you all the great things that we're doing here at the Forest, but I'm the conductor of what I consider to be a great orchestra. There's a lot of pieces out there that are working very, very well to make this thing happen. You've got a great contractor out there, QGS Development. You've got a great superintendent out there, Luke Farron, who's growing this golf course in and actually landscaping himself in-house. You've got a team of Kyle Rook, new general manager, who's been phenomenal, very helpful on everything that we need done. And especially, these projects don't get done without a good team of committee members, Jeff Lumsden, Chris Rakos, and a few others, who have been, anytime that we ran into some issue that we needed solved, they were right on top of it, they got it done, they got it addressed, and got it resolved for us. So it's for all those reasons that we've had this great team working together, why this project's going to come in on budget, and why this project's going to finish on time, and you're going to be open, in late November, early December, somewhere on that time frame. So it's been a great team effort, and it's going to be a great success here at the Forest Country Club.